Okay, I move that the Board of Selectmen vote to open the May 7th, 2020 Board of Selectmen meeting.
Second by
Seconded.
Seconded
by Josh.
Okay, motion's been made and second. Discussion. Hearing now, we'll have a roll call vote. Richie Lombard, aye.
Mark Cullen and I.
Josh Evermeyer.
Very good. Deb Murphy's not with us. Is John Colin on the line?
Don't see either of them. Bobby Joe, have you?
I've told them both to keep trying.
Okay.
They're having trouble getting in, Bobby Joe?
They're both attempting to get in right now. It should be any minute. Maybe we can come back to that agenda item.
Is there a trick like this? I don't think it's asking for my email in the past.
I don't know. We didn't set it up any different.
No.
I just resent you the invite.
They keep doing upgrades. Could be it.
Yeah.
Richie, why don't we go to opening comments?
Okay.
They could try to go in through the town website. That's how I got on.
Hi, is that Tony? Are you there?
Yeah.
Oh, that's Deb.
Yeah, I can only call in. I can't, for some reason, I can't get in online, so I use the phone number just to call in.
All right.
Okay. Let me.
Mark, any opening comments?
No. If you want to read the comments, Richie, on paragraph 2, that might give us some time.
Okay. Well, the first comment is Debbie Murphy here with us?
I'm on the phone, Richie.
Okay, and John Coolan, are they there?
I don't have John right now.
All right, Debbie, why don't you give us an update on?
Well, I think this has been a very good week all around, and the Jesmond is doing a great job. They're the people that were positive. Many of them have been retested, and they're testing negative, which is great. They haven't had any new cases, so I think so that's really a good sign. In our community, this week we had 2 cases, but again, cases in contacts doing very well. So so it's good. So I'm very optimistic at this point.
Great news, Debbie.
It is good news, and I hope we can stay. I hope it stays like this, you know, as we continue.
Absolutely.
I hope.
Is John Coolan there yet?
I just spoke with him. He's going to dial in just a moment.
I wonder what happened to the invite. I don't know. Too bad.
I'm reposting the invite onto Facebook right now. I don't know why.
Yeah, how many people do we have on?
There's a lot of people are on. So, you know, a lot of people were able to get through, but there are a lot of phone numbers, so not a lot of people are in through Zoom. So I'll just repost that. Mr. Chairman, if you don't mind, I can follow up a little bit on what Debbie was just saying. You know, we did have 2 new cases from the community this week, and you know, again, in the message that the community call that we've been putting out and through all of our messages, it's really important that, you know, while people may not be paying as much attention because we're, you know, been doing this for so long, and people get somewhat, you know, bored of catching up on the news or whatnot. And the curve seems to be flattening at the state level. It's still really, really important that we don't get too relaxed, and that people are continuing to follow the governor's stay-at-home advisory, which has been extended to the 18th, and stay home as much as you can. If you need to go out, then you know, you want to be go for a walk, go for a jog, do some exercise. That's okay, but you want to keep your distance from people. Again, you want to keep your distance from people. And if you cannot keep your distance, 6 feet distance from other people, you are required to wear a mask, even in public. So it's the governor's emergency order very clearly stated that if you are in public and cannot stay 6 feet distance from others in public, you are required to wear a mask. If you are able to keep 6 foot distance, you don't have to wear a mask. But if not, you do. So, and the other order, which we adopted last week, and then the governor put in place, that actually went into effect, I think, yesterday, is that when you go into an essential business, you must wear a mask. So in Nahant, if you're going into any of the open businesses, you must wear a mask. If you're out in public and you can't keep 6 foot distance, you must. But again, we really want to stress that folks try to stay home as much as possible. You know, with everything that we've, you know, all the calls and all the information that we've received from CDC and DPH, is that the case numbers that we get tend to be about a week to 2 weeks behind when somebody comes in contact with coronavirus. And if you think about it, about 2 weeks ago is when the weather really started to change. And so it makes me a little nervous to see 2 new cases pop up this week. And you know, I want folks to really, you know, understand the importance of staying strong and protecting yourself and others. There are many of us are asymptomatic to the coronavirus. So you may not have symptoms, but you could be a carrier of the virus. So even though you feel fine and you feel like you've been in your house for so long and you feel like you can get outside, you know, you could be carrying the virus, and you could transmit it to others if you're not following the CDC guidelines. So the last thing we want to do here is see a secondary spike and have to kind of restart this process all over again. So you know, there is some good news that numbers have slowed down, but it's, you know, that doesn't mean we can just go back, you know, flip a switch and go back to the lifestyles we were living before this pandemic hit. So we also, there was a lot of, I received a lot of communication. I think many of the selectmen did as well. There was some back and forth on social media about, you know, what the rules are regarding using the beaches or open space. And so I want to just address that it says passive recreation. What that means, what the intent of that is that people keep moving, sitting on the beach, even by yourself, is currently not allowed. You can go for a walk, you can go for a run, you can go for a swim. But you really, again, the stay-at-home advisory, at least until the 18th, you really should be staying home as much as possible. But if you want to go and enjoy the beach, you want to stay at least 6 feet distance away from others, and you want to keep moving. We don't want to see people sitting on the beach and sunbathing. It's a transient activity only. So I hope that clears that up if there was any more questions about that. The governor also today, announced that as of today, golf courses are allowed to open back up, and included in that many restrictions. Number one, I think that what's important about today's announcement and how it was announced is that it kind of gives us a feel of what to expect as we move through this process and how things will look. So, I think that the governor is going to be providing specific restrictions and guidance at each phase of reopening. So, even though golf is allowed to operate, it's not the same type of golf that folks are accustomed to. The governor's orders, for instance, require that there be 15-minute tee time intervals, that there be flag sticks don't get pulled out of the holes, no carts, no golf carts allowed, no caddies allowed. The building and the golf shop, the restaurant, the bag room, the locker room, all that must remain closed. All staff must wear face coverings. Just kind of skimming through some of this stuff. Golfers must stay in their car until 15 minutes before their tee time and must return to their car immediately following play. Online and remote payment options must be utilized. No sharing golf clubs, no renting golf clubs. Removal of bunker rakes and ball washers. No practice putting green, driving range, chipping areas. So, there's a lot more there too, but that's kind of like the idea here is that as the governor's going to begin lifting some of these restrictions, they're still going to have limitations to them. So we expect to see similar stuff like that as we continue to go through this. If restaurants are able to open, I'm sure it'll have limitations on capacity and things of that nature. So they have an advisory they have a task force put together at the state level that they're working to put together all these different types of on top of these types of different businesses and scenarios. A lot of it has to do with the activity, what the facility looks like, who's the vulnerability of the clientele, of the workers, so there's a lot of different things. Of course, we'll see, the restrictions on like council on aging would probably come at the very, in a very much later phase. I believe anyways, back to golf, I believe the Kelly Greens or Players Rise will be opening up for golf tomorrow. And I've spoken with Johnny Moore and the staff down there. They've been working really hard today to get everything ready to go. You must book a tee time. There's no walk-ons. As I said, there's no golf carts, push carts. There's no rental of push carts. You have to bring your own. And you got to pay ahead, and you got to stay in your car. You got to stay in your car until they call you and tell you it's your tee time is ready. Debbie, do you have anything to add to that?
No, I think you covered everything about the golf. I also think that, just to bring it up, I know the locker rooms are going to be closed, and I think that includes the restrooms. So just to put that out there.
Debbie, I hope they schedule you for the first tee time.
Well, I haven't called yet, and luckily for here, I mean, Kelly Greens is an easy course to walk, so the no cart rule shouldn't keep too many people away. But when I think about Gannon, that course is much more difficult to walk, and I know there's a lot of older members there as well. So that'll be tough for them, but it is what it is. At least it's a start, and I know a lot of people have really been anxious about getting out to the golf course. So we'll keep an eye on things and see how it pans out. Hopefully it will go smoothly. Tony, I still can't get in even with the new meeting address, so.
Looks like Josh was able to jump on. Josh, did you follow the invite I sent, or Facebook?
I had to create a new account. I don't think the Zoom application now needs to be linked to your email address. So I created one with my nahant.org email address.
Right. I tried to do that too, but it wouldn't accept my password. I don't know why.
Yeah. Well, maybe we can have a practice session before the next.
And I don't see John. I don't see John unless he called in and he's muted, but I don't recognize his number here. So, but I will say that John, is working with all of our local businesses, restaurants.
I'm here.
Oh, John, is that you?
Oh, I'm on the call.
Oh, good. Mic is yours.
Yeah, okay. Well, as you were saying, I've been working with our open food establishments, and I've been pursuing the non-COVID-19 public health matters, because public health never stops for anything. And I've been encouraged that the establishment owners have continued to be actively involved in being compliant. They've met several challenges where some people are just, well, seem to be tired of doing what we've been doing. And I've tried to speak to as many as I can, try and be approachable and try and discuss what their issues might be, and try and convince them that if for nothing else, the owner of the establishment needs to have things be compliant on the premises for their own sake. So our citizens should be reminded that regardless of whether you agree or not, this is the way it is, and there are reasons. It is science-based, as you mentioned earlier, Tony. So I think that overall we're doing well. I think that people are complying quite well, and I think that the work that Deb has been doing has been terrific, staying on top of things. That's about all I have in general right now, unless anybody has any specific questions for me.
Okay, thanks, John. Anyone have any questions for the health officer? Debbie? Okay. Moving right along. The annual town elections has been postponed until Saturday, June 20th. The annual town meeting has been postponed until Saturday, June 27th, 2020. You can purchase your beach parking sticker on Nahant.org, and the Kelly Scholarship deadline has been extended to May 15th. And the launching date has been postponed until May 21st. Get the boats off the wharf. I'll entertain a motion to approve the Selectmen's meeting minutes.
Rich, before we do that, can we have a minute for opening comment?
Sure, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I was jumping the gun here. Go ahead.
No problem, Rich. Thanks. I just want to say on behalf of myself and my family how grateful we are for the turnout on Sunday for my father's wake. It was fabulous. I couldn't ask for more, and only in the hack could this happen. So thank you for everyone who participated, and thank you, Tony, and thank you for the DPW and the police and fire. You know, my father worked for the DPW. He was a call firefighter. He ran dispatch down there. And of course, he was a police officer and the chief of police in the Nahant for years back. So I want to, on behalf of my family, say thank you all.
Oh, that's great, Mark. Thank you.
Yeah, glad that worked out. I just had one thing to say, more business-like. I just want to let everyone know that all our email addresses are on the nahant.org website. So that's really the best way to communicate with us. One is antrim@nahant.org. If you have any questions of any nature, feel free to email me and I'll give you a prompt, courteous, and factual response. Thank you.
Any other opening comments? Okay. Josh, you want to read the next motion?
Yes, I move that the Board of Selectmen vote to approve the Board of Selectmen meeting minutes from April 30th, 2020.
Is there a second?
Seconded?
Motion's been made and second. Discussion. This will be a roll call vote. Okay. Richie Lombard, aye.
Mark Cullen, aye.
Josh Antrim, aye. We're going to discuss the
Waiver of late fees and interest. You want to read that?
Sure. I move that the Nahant Board of Selectmen, pursuant to Section 11 of Chapter 53 of the Acts of 2020, vote to waive the interest and late fees for late payment of real and personal property taxes for those taxpayers that pay their real and personal property taxes in full on or before June 1st, 2020.
Is there a second?
seconded by Josh.
Motion has been made and seconded. Discussion.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, if you'd like, I'd like to give an explanation about what this is, and Dan Scripp is town council's on the phone as well, so that folks on the call understand what you guys are doing.
Sure, go ahead, Tony, and town council.
So, you know, there's legislation was passed at the state house, at the state level, that allows municipalities to, due to COVID, due to coronavirus, allows us to waive penalty and late fees and interest for taxes that are paid late. And, you know, this year, we understand, that folks are out of work and struggling through this time. And we have a bit more than typical outstanding right now, which we believe is due to, we think that whether it's because of confusion or whether people are having a tough time being able to pay or whatnot, but what we're proposing here is that we give folks an extra month to get their payment in. And so right now, if someone has not paid their real estate or personal property tax, it is accruing interest and as it's late. But if those folks get their payment in before June 1st, we will waive any type of extra fee or penalty charge that would be applied to it. I know that many people in town are used to coming into the town hall and handing their check to the treasurer collector's office and even sometimes getting a stamp receipt. And now that the building's been closed, a lot of it's been mailed in or has been dropped in the box out front. For those curious about whether or not we received your payment, you first of all check your bank account, right? If the check has been cashed, then we've received it. But you can also go to City Hall systems. So if folks want to check their account status, they can go to the nahant.org website. And on the right side, they can actually click on the link that it says online bill payment. And what we could do here is provide like a step-by-step screenshot and throw it onto Facebook so people know how to follow along. But if you click on the, like I said, if you go to the homepage and you click on online bill payment, there's a link there that says proceed to City Hall systems, view and pay your bills online. If you click on that link, you can look up your real estate or personal property or boat excise or motor vehicle or parking sticker, water, sewer, trash, simply by entering your name or your street location, and it'll bring up your account and tell you whether or not you have an outstanding balance or not. So if anyone's curious about whether or not we've received your payment, that's another way that you can check. I think this is a great thing for the town to do for the residents that may be struggling right now, and it's a great option for them that they have this extra month to get their payment in. I do, we are dependent on these payments. We need to get payments in before the end of the fiscal year, before June 30th. So there is pressure on the town's finances to realize this cash coming into the town. But we understand, we're trying to strike a healthy balance here to provide some relief to the residents, but also, it is important that we do get these payments in. So, the May 1st deadline isn't being extended. However, if anyone gets their late payment in before June 1st, we will waive, with this vote, it allows us to waive any type of added penalty or interest that would be accrued for coming in late. Dan?
Yeah, the only thing I'd add to that, Tony, it was well said. The only thing to add to that is if someone waits beyond June 1st, then the accrual of the interest goes back to May 1st. It doesn't start at June 1st and start rolling up again. It goes back to May 1st. And this is an idea, just try to soften the impact on the public of this COVID virus. It's meant to help folks get through this.
Tony, I got a few questions. I understand that the end of the year is a very important time for the town, for the accountant and for the treasurer. to make sure that our revenues are received and our expenses are accounted for. It's like balancing your checkbook. It's the end of the fiscal year, and we need to balance our bank account. And you don't want to enter the next year with a free cash deficit of any kind. So I think this is a good opportunity to relieve some of the pressure that some people may be experiencing. Dan, I've got a question. Is there anything in the legislation that affects the end of the year closing date for the fiscal year?
Not that I'm aware of. I can look into that, but I don't think so. I think the end is the end.
Okay.
What you might want to consider is that we can have a 1/12 of a budget passed without town meeting going through the DOR. So that might help a little bit, but the date is still, as far as I know, at the end of the fiscal year. I don't think that's being changed at all.
Okay. My other question is, I don't think we're going to be putting liens on real estate or personal property. I at least hope not at this point. And if someone comes up, Tony, and wants to try to develop a payment plan, is that possible?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we have 3 years. We can go back 3 years to put a lien on someone's property for not paying their taxes. And we do have some that has been outstanding, well before the coronavirus.
Yeah, I'm not talking about those.
But ones that come in now, certainly, we can develop a payment plan to help folks get through this time for sure, absolutely, for sure.
Great. It's tough times, and it's happening at the end of the fiscal year, and I know it's difficult. You have to make some difficult decisions, and I think it's good that the legislation, the governor, the legislature allowed us to have this provision. It could help people out.
Okay.
Take a vote. Take a vote, Rich.
Yeah, okay, any other discussion?
Nope.
All those in favor, okay, I have a roll call vote. Richie Lombard, aye.
Mark Cullen and I.
Josh Hanford, aye.
Motion passes unanimous. Okay. Josh, you're next.
I think we were going to talk about the ongoing business of voter registration. I don't know if you want to read that, Richie, or I can read it if you want.
The ongoing business,
I'll start on that. So the voter registration deadline is 8 p.m. on June 10th, 2020.
Yeah. Okay.
Say about that, Tony.
Okay.
Yeah, Dan, if you want to jump in too, but again, this is another piece of legislation that was passed due to the coronavirus that is allowing the town to extend the date of our town elections, which we've already taken advantage of. And with that, extended the date by which people can register to vote, which is 10 days prior to the election, June 10th. So there's no vote here. It's more about getting the information out to the public that if you aren't registered to vote, you can do so by June 10th. And we are in the process of putting together some information to throw on the town hall website and Facebook and in the Council on Aging Tiffany Times to help folks understand what their options are should they feel uncomfortable with actually coming to the polls. People can request an absentee ballot and can actually submit that absentee ballot by mail. And we can accept that ballot all the way up until the day of the election. Obviously, if you are, if you're requesting a mail-in ballot, you want to do it well in advance of the actual election. so that, you know, it doesn't get held up in the mail. We have seen some delays in the postal service. So if you are requesting a ballot to submit your vote by mail, you want to do so well in advance. And I have a note here from Michelle that absentee ballots are accepted up to the day before the election, June 19th. Is it the day before, Dan, or is it the day of?
The applications are acceptable as of to the day of before the election. You could submit the ballot the day of the election until the time the polls close. Applications day of, submission of ballot the actual day of the election or anytime before.
All right. So, but again, you know, if you know, it's going to be impossible to receive a ballot, a mail-in ballot, if you request it the day before the election, and then for you to fill it out and mail it back to the town hall and have it recorded the day of the election. So you want to make sure that you make that request, you know, a week or more in advance of the date of June 20th.
It's got to be in writing. An email is fine, but you can't call and ask one. It's got to be in some form of writing.
Okay.
And in terms of the registration deadline, Tony, like you said, it's 10 days. If folks out there see 20 days on some sort of website and some sort of guideline, it is typically 20 days. But for this year, it's 10. So if you see 20, don't get confused. It's 10 this year. It'll revert back to 20 after, I think, December 31st.
All right.
So the next item on the ongoing business is the wall that heals. This is a discussion. I see Toby Quirks on the line. I don't know if you wanted to introduce anything, Tony, or.
Tony, I'm hearing from the Legion that it's been canceled for this year.
Yeah, would you like me to address that?
Yes.
Okay, hi. This is Toby Quirk from the American Legion, and
Yes, sir.
I'm the chair of the committee that's been planning the wall that heals. So, yes, we have been in discussion with the folks at the national office there at the Vietnam Memorial Wall in Washington, D.C., and they are absolutely super when it comes to this whole uncertain time. The bottom line is that we have decided among our committee to postpone our event. Currently scheduled for the 30th of July through the 2nd of August at the Lowlands Ball Field. So there's a process we're going through to put our name in for 2021. And then the folks at the Vietnam Veterans Memorial Fund in DC, they have to put together their tour. So it's impossible right now to know what our date is going to be for 2021, but there's a almost 100% chance that they're going to be able to reschedule us. There's a slight chance that there could be a tour problem. So I'm going to read a quick paragraph that came from our program folks up there at the Vietnam Veterans Memorial Fund in DC. By the way, these people are just fabulous to work with. So here it goes. The Wall That Heal visit to the Nahant area, July 30th through August 2nd, 2020, has been postponed. This event, hosted by American Legion Post 215, would have brought the preeminent replica of the Vietnam Veterans Memorial to the area for Vietnam veterans, family members, and other members of the public. American Legion Post 215 and the Vietnam Veterans Memorial Fund jointly decided to postpone the visit out of an abundance of caution for our visitors and volunteers. While disappointed this decision has become necessary, we already are looking at dates in 2021 to reschedule this important event. So just a little bit of background. This tour starts in February and ends in November, and they hold an event almost every week. They skip a week here and there because of travel problems. They started canceling the events. The first event that was canceled was on March the 19th. And every site between March 19th and July 2nd has been canceled. So we had a window of opportunity to say yes or no. And so our committee got together. We have a committee of 12 people, and then there's an additional almost 10 other people that are sort of helpers with that committee. So there's a lot of folks working on this in the town of Nahant. So we came to a consensus Tuesday of this week on a Zoom call, and there was basically 100% agreement that our best course of action was to cancel until next year. There were three primary considerations. One was trying to get the resources together, you know, both human resources and funds and all the other details that have to go through in a short period of time. The second consideration was, of course, safety and who would attend, because we're not sure if phase one begins in Massachusetts on May 18th, and that goalpost might be pushed. You never know. Then that's phase one. What kind of restrictions would we be under on the 30th of July? And that's an unknown factor, but we have to guess that there may be restrictions in terms of how many people can be on the site. Now, this wall is 325 feet long and 7 feet high. It's an exact replica. And so one of the features is to be able to go up with a piece of paper and a pencil and to go over the name or names that you want to remember, and you trace those names on the paper. So that's touching the wall, cleaning the wall, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So with all of those factors, we felt like that was the second consideration. And the last one is the American Legion, and I'm sure the town of Nahant is in total agreement. We want to hold a first-class event, and trying to hustle on the last couple of weeks to put something together with never even knowing until the last week whether it's going to go or not, did not afford us the opportunity to put on a first-class event where we can get maximum participation and provide a moment for the community and greater Boston to honor those who died in Vietnam. Another of the parts of this planning was that Esther Johnson took on the task to coordinate with the school. So there was going to be student participation, and she was connecting with all the elementary and middle and high schools in Lynn and the whole surrounding area. So we felt that was probably one of the most important aspects of this, to educate that generation in what has happened, and to honor those 58,000 plus warriors that died. So that's where we are. I want to say that while we were planning the wall that heals, the town of Nahant was way beyond enthusiastic. There's probably a word for that, I don't know, but so positive, so encouraging, getting behind this effort, and now so understanding, even though disappointed, understanding about what we're doing here. So we're in the process of contacting all the people, the donors, the volunteers, the folks that were going to speak at the events. We had a list of about 60 volunteers so far, so they're all going to be contacted. So we're being very deliberate in making those contacts. So what's going to happen is the folks in DC, the Vietnam Veterans Memorial Fund, they're going to post on their website next Thursday that the events in Nahant are going to be canceled. So they want to give us a chance to notify people one-on-one, so it doesn't come to them from the national organization. And so we're going to be laying that out. We'll be hitting the Nahant residence page on Facebook, the Nahant page, the town website, and so forth and so on to let people know. But we want to appreciate and express our appreciation to the town, the administration, the Board of Selectmen, and the town administrator for, and all the departments in Nahant have been absolutely amazing. Police department especially, and the DPW, not only just saying, yeah, okay, we'll help, but coming up with creative ideas and being there 100%. So anyway, that's my announcement about the Wall That Heals from the American Legion. I have a couple comments about Memorial Day, if you want me to cover that, Tony, or you can cover that, or maybe Bobby Joe can.
Well, before we get to it, I'll just say that a huge thank you to you, Toby, and your committee is outstanding. You know, what a great group of people, and for the amount of time that they've put into this, it's like, it breaks my heart to have to say to them, we got to wait another year. You know, we were all very excited about having the wall here this year, but I think ultimately it is the right decision to postpone to next year. And, you know, we don't want to have any type of restrictions or anything like that when it does get here. We want to really enjoy it the best as we can. So I just, hats off to you and your committee and everyone that's donated and all the volunteers. And you know, it stinks that we have to wait, but I think it is the right decision. So just want to say thank you.
No, you're welcome, and thank you for that.
We do have a question for you, Toby, in the chat. How are donations that have already been made, how are they being held?
Yeah, okay. All the donations are in a separate checking account from the American Legion checking account, and they're all accounted for, and the names of all the donors are associated with it. So our fundraising committee is going to get back one-on-one with each one of the donors and ask them what they want to do. They can either receive their money back, or if they want to hold it till next year, to keep it for the postponement. Once the postponement date has been set, that's going to be a discussion between our fundraisers and the donors.
Okay. So moving on to, unless any of the board wanted to say anything regarding the Wall That Heals.
No, just thanks for that update, Toby, and appreciate all the work that you and the others have put in. Hopefully it'll all come together next year. We're looking forward to it.
Thank you.
Toby, nice job. This is Richie. That's going to be great. I think the people in Nahant and the surrounding communities, you're going to have a large crowd to review that. That's something that's very sacred. And for us to hold that event, that's huge. I just want to say thank you on behalf of the Vietnam veterans.
Yes, sir. And thank you for your service. I think, Richie, you were the first donor to the wall, so appreciate that.
Well, you know, it's just, I think people have to see that. We lost so many guys, and it's just, big. Okay, next.
So along those lines, the Memorial Day parade has been canceled. You know, we talked about it, you know, back and forth many times, trying to think of a way that we could potentially continue to hold the parade, or some version of the parade under the current conditions. And unfortunately, we don't feel comfortable that it could be accomplished in a safe way. We are working to put together a Memorial Day ceremony type video that we could release on Memorial Day. And we're still working through the details on that. But unfortunately, the parade has been canceled. Toby, did you want to mention anything about the Memorial Day parade?
No, just that. And I know that your office is working, putting that video thing together. So, yep, that's a good idea.
Town administrators report, are we ready for that?
Yes. Just pulling up the agenda here.
Water main improvement.
You were gonna talk about the water main, Tony?
Okay, Waterman. Yeah, I was just looking at trying to find the agenda so I could give the give the update in the right order. And I think Zach is on the line. Zach, if you are on the line and you can hear me, go ahead and unmute yourself so you can join in on this topic. So last week or 2 weeks ago, I forget, but the board voted to borrow through the MWRA process, 0 interest loans for water main upgrades that had been previously approved by town meeting. The authorization was provided by town meeting. And we had a bid opening this past week, Monday, I believe. The bid results were great. We had a base bid. The job that was put out to bid was replacing the water main on Furbish and Walton Road, which currently is a 1-inch water main, and increasing that to 8-inch. Then there was an alternate 1, which was doing some water work up at Mills Terrace, and then alternate 2 was water work at Howe Road. The bid originally, our engineering firm, Kleinfelder, came in and projected that the total cost for the base bid and all the alternates was going to be around $736,000. The base bid was estimated at around $360,000. So that's for Walton and Furbish Road. The base bid results came in from highest to lowest. Aqualine Utility came in at $413,609. Engrenese and Sons came in at $241,011, and the low bid, the winner, the award for the contract came in. Cardillo and Sons came in at $237,533. So, where it was projected at $360,000 and the lowest bid came in at $237,000. That's a great sign. Well, we should be able to get a few of those alternates done as well within the MWR borrowing amount that we have. We also got, and then essentially the next steps with that is we hope to do the award next week. And then we have the notice to proceed, and they have about 60 days from the notice to proceed and the signing of the contract to get the work done. So we should see that work get done, over the next 2 months. And we also found out today that the MWRA had the board had an emergency meeting earlier this week to provide relief, to vote on a few changes that would provide relief to municipalities. And one of those things is that allow communities to defer payments on any local water pipeline, lead service removal, and infiltration inflow loans with repayments remaining in fiscal year 2020. And our community it's not mandatory, but it's optional, can restructure the remaining payments of our existing loans in consultation with MWRA and our bond counsel to ensure that we're complying with all our legal requirements, and that we can, defer this repayment out a couple of years. So that helps us when we're dealing with our 1/12 budgets. Should we have to do that going forward, that we don't have to repay some of those loans. It's an option anyways, if we need it, if we need to utilize it. So good news on the water side.
Tony, a quick question for you and Zach. Was that contract a lump sum contract or line item bid? Or do you know?
It was,
Oh, there
Mark,
we go.
it was awarded based on a lump sum, but it was an itemized bid.
Okay.
So we did, Kleinfelder broke it up. I mean, they had like, I want to say like 40 items for each of the bids. So they broke it down into like linear feet of pipe, and
Yeah, okay. Right.
we should get a good idea of progress based on the itemized bid.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks, sir.
Zach, do you have any other details you want to add, or about the project or the timeline, or what's going to happen there? I know that you have been communicating with the residents on those streets, the homeowners on those streets already, but obviously we will work to provide ample notification so people are aware that construction will be occurring on their street. I don't know if you
I think
what that said.
Yeah, once we finish this week, we're doing a bid review. So we're vetting the low bidder and before the award, and then once we check their references, we hope to sign contracts next week. Notice to proceed. Then they have 60 days to complete the job. Not saying that it will take 60 days or they'll be on site for 60 days. You're talking maybe 3 weeks over at Furbush and Walton, and then depending on ledge at Howe and Mills, you may be talking a couple 3 weeks over there as well. So once we sign the contracts and get the notice to proceed, we'll get schedules from the contractor and inform all the residents that are being affected ahead of time.
Okay, great. Next, I think is, let me look back. Is it the gas main update or is it sewer?
National Grid gas main.
Okay. So National Grid is replacing the gas main along Willow Road by Tudor Beach. We have reached out to National Grid and made a request to have supervisor meet with Zach and discuss what the next steps are. We do know that the work on the main is complete. What's outstanding is the service lines, and our understanding is that National Grid is delaying the service line work because it would require them to potentially enter someone's home. And with coronavirus, they're trying to avoid those types of tasks. But we are applying pressure to them to keep work moving so that we can, get the road back to, get the road repaired and clean up, have their trucks and equipment removed as soon as possible. Zach, do you have anything to add on that?
No, I could report back to you once I hear back from Grid on the next steps and any types of remediation work that needs to be done on the roadway.
Okay. And then next is the sewer main. So Wednesday, Wednesday, what's today? Thursday. So yesterday, we met with Wright Pierce, our engineering firm for the sewer main, and Lighthouse Survey, their subcontractor, regarding the survey work and design process of the work that we're going to be doing on the Linway. Lighthouse Survey has already completed their aerial survey of the entire town. They were able to, instead of, because they were able to basically cover the entire town. And they didn't charge us any extra to get the extra footage there. So the base mapping of phase 1, which is on the Linway, is complete. And next week they'll be going out to do some ground survey to get some, more definitive points of reference. And I guess I would say that one of the bonuses of them being able to do that survey work was that data is going to be useful to us, not just for the Linway job, but also for the Willow Road job, and really any future large infrastructure work that we have occurring in town. It provides elevation contours, GIS data points. It also gives us a baseline of for FEMA purposes. Should we ever, hopefully we don't go through the same scenario that we did in 2018, but we would be able to show, what our beaches or coastline look like today and what they look like after a storm. So really valuable information there, and for not too much money.
So Tony, was that a flyover survey?
It was.
And they captured the whole town?
They did.
Excellent.
Zach has already seen, I think Zach had got a sneak preview of some of the data that they put together. It's really impressive stuff from what I understand. I haven't seen it myself. And, we can incorporate that right into our GIS and be able to use that in the future for, whatever we might need.
Yeah, very good.
We're hoping that we'll have the Linway job designed, permitted, and out to bid in the late summer, early fall, and hopefully have that job completed by the end of the year, by the end of the calendar year.
Make for a peaceful winter, hopefully.
For Zach, for Zach especially. Zach, do you want to add anything on the sewer, for a sewer update?
No, I think you spoke to all the points that we have going on right now, and according to Wright Pierce, that schedule's doable at this point. So keep pushing forward.
I guess I'll just add that, on the sewer main, working with Wright Pierce, I think that's a first for the town, working with their engineering firm. And then on the water main, working with Kleinfelder, who also bid on the sewer job, their engineering firm. Zach and I have been extremely pleased with their level of work and their timeline and attention to the details. And we're very pleased with both those firms and the job that they're doing for the town. Let's see. Okay, so that's all I have for the updates for utilities. For anyone on the call that has called in through Zoom, if you have any questions for the citizens forum that's coming up next, please type it into the chat box and I will read it off to everyone. Please include your name and address. And if I don't get many there, we can always unmute everybody on the call, and folks on the phone can speak up if they have any questions. But We're not there yet. That's up to, the chairman to move on to that point. But I'm done with my administrator report at this point.
Well, thank goodness. Well, you just did my part. This is going to be the citizen forum. Residents, I'm going to give you time to speak and ask questions. I want to remind you that we need your name and address before you speak. And before we go, we're going to be moving into an executive session to discuss real property at Kelly Greens. So is there any citizens in the town that would like to speak and ask questions? Any comments? Now's your time.
I don't see any comments in the chat group, so what I'll do is, although I have given anybody on the phone has the ability to unmute themselves. So
Yes.
if you would like to speak, go ahead and unmute yourself and state your name and address.
Is there anyone out there in the citizens of the town of Nahant would like to say anything? Any comments, suggestions, recommendations?
I just got a question from Michelle Capano asking to clarify the number of COVID-19 cases reported in the town. I believe we are at 32 total at this point. Is that right, Deb?
Probably question that because yesterday, when they updated the weekly numbers, they had us at 31. So that was a misprint. But we are at 32.
Is there anyone else out there in the town would like to speak or say anything?
Mr. Chairman, I see, it's Mark speaking. I see there's about 40 people on this chat tonight, on this meeting tonight. So that's encouraging. So it looks like it's working out pretty well, Tony. You and Bobby Joe done a great job.
We got more people on the conference calls than at the meetings.
I think you would have stayed on for another 3 years, Richie, if we could have done this for the next 3 years.
Late.
Okay. Okay, well, Citizens Forum, we shut up. We're going to be adjourning this meeting here, the regular meeting, and we're going to be going into executive session to discuss the lease and valuation of real property at Kelly Greens in the golf club at One Railroad Nahant. And we will not reconvene in open session. I'll entertain a motion to close the regular meeting.
I was going to move it. We go.
Yeah, it's a motion to go into executive session, not to.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
no.
the Board of Selectmen vote to go into executive session pursuant to Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 30A, Section 21A, Paragraph 6, to discuss the lease and valuation of real property, Kelly Greens Golf Club, 1 Willow Road, Nahant. We will not reconvene in open session.
Motion's been made. Is there a second?
Seconded.
Motion's been seconded. Further discussion. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to close this regular meeting, and the board and the town administration and our council will be going into an executive session, and we will not be coming back into a reconvening in open session. I appreciate everyone listening, participating. Thank you very much. Is there a motion?
Yes, there's a motion.
Motion's been made, seconded. All those in favor say aye. Richie Lombard, aye.
Mark Cullen and I.
Josh Heffron, aye.
Okay.
All right, see you in executive session.
We're gonna motion to go into executive
Thanks,
session.
Deb.
Bye, Tony. Bye, everyone.
Thank you very much, and I'll see everyone on the next phone call for the executive session. Thank
All right.
you.
Thank you.